What's going on? You're listening to WSOU. I am Nick, and I am here with Nick Forkel from Turbid North. What's going on, dude?
Not much, man.
So you guys are heading out on tour with Entombed AD, actually starting next week. A great way to start off the year.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
What are you guys looking forward to?
We're just happy to be. We toured. And so, yeah, just to get out there again and get up with two awesome bands like Entombed AD and Full of Hell. We're just really excited for it.
For sure. Now, the thing that I think is most interesting about this bill is obviously the eclectic sound, which I think is really cool. How do you feel with lineups that are more geared towards one kind of sounding genre versus more eclectic bills, which may turn certain people off, but at the same time could introduce people to, other kinds of genres and other cool music they wouldn't normally have seen if they gone to, a tour where it's all the same sounding bands?
Right. Yeah, I think that's, I think you just said it, if you got a little bit of differences in some of the bands, you might go to see a certain band and then you come across another band that you've never really heard before and come and find out you really dig them. Like with us, with this particular lineup of bands, I think we kind of just have enough of the metal, death metal, to fit in there, but we got just a little bit of something different that we can kind of bring to the table. So it'll be interesting to see, what people think about it. I think I had an insane echo going there, but
yeah.
So we're good. It's kind of hard to talk, but I'm now it's good. But yeah, I'm really excited to be, to have us be a part of it.
For sure. Now, it's been a long road for you guys. You started back in 2001. It's been over 15 years now at this point. You guys have been going strong. You had your second album came out in 2015. Now, you have pretty sizable gaps between releases. Could we expect a new album next year, or is it going to be a little bit further down the road?
Yeah, next year actually. We're not taking the 5-year whatever the Tool approach to recording albums. No, yeah, we have it all written.
Okay.
We have a ton of material, and actually after this tour, we're gonna hit the studio in February and hopefully get something out in the summer of next year. So that's the big goal.
Awesome. Now, is there any kind of concept with this one? Because with the past, there was, the really creative concepts. Was there anything for this one, or is this more wide open?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some sort of concept, some sort of theme,
Okay.
just because I like doing that. Haven't really kind of nailed it down, kind of have a broad idea. Little more personal, sort of just a couple more little personal, kind of touching on a personal thing, but yeah, we'll have some sort of little thing that ties it all together. Just haven't really got there yet. We just kind of knocked out all the music. And like I said, we got a ton of music, so we're just kind of we're gonna piece it together, I guess, and it's just kind of finishing touches, and then boom, start all that stuff. That's kind of the way we work. We always do that kind of stuff at the end, as far as lyrics and themes and all that stuff.
Okay. Now, what I always thought was really cool was how the albums did have such a concept, and they were very interesting concepts. They weren't like your typical, this is a certain story where you could kind of see, a lot of bands have done this before. You had the sci-fi one on the last album, and then the one before that I thought was even more interesting with the whole human survival and like the Arctic situation. Where did you kind of come up with that one? Because I thought that was really unique.
Yeah, I think that was just kind of writing about home, growing up in Alaska.
Right.
You're just kind of used to that stuff, and just kind of pulling. We thought, that kind of fits cool with this kind of music, this epic kind of heavy music. That's a good little theme to go with it. And I think we just did one song like that, and then was like, hey, let's do a couple more, and then like they all kind of just started. It just kind of went that direction, and we just thought it fit really perfect. And kind of the same with Eyes Alive. It was like just some of the songs had a sci-fi kind of little vibe to it, and so we said, well, maybe we'll just go that way. So that's why I think with this next one, I kind of know what we're gonna do, but I'm just gonna see how these songs come together, and then it kind of guides us. You know what I mean? Like once you get it, everything put down, recorded aside from the vocals, then you start to get an idea of like where it's gonna go. For me personally.
For sure, for sure. And now what I think is really interesting, like you just mentioned, is the fact that you guys started out in Alaska, which you don't see many bands really doing, starting from Alaska. Now, kind of tell me how, obviously being from Alaska, like you mentioned, had a big influence on the band and the writing itself, and I'm sure the band name itself had something to do with it. But what exactly is being a band from Alaska like? Because obviously I've never really heard of that big of a scene from up there.
Yeah, man, it's interesting. It's a bit of a struggle. It's definitely not any normal kind of. I mean, there's a small scene up there, and there's always kind of been, but it's nothing like, nothing too big or anything. It's very tightly, that everybody knows each other. But there are a lot of metal fans up there. And yeah, it's kind of had to stick to playing, and sooner or later it was like, well, I think if we're going to do anything, we got to probably get out of here because, it's very isolated.
Right.
And so, yeah, you can only kind of do so much up there. If you want to pursue music, you kind of got to relocate. But I just think, yeah, it's cool. It's kind of all we did. Because, winters are long, stay inside. All we did was we just play music together, and just, thankfully we kept it going long enough that we were like, well, yeah, let's go try and do this, make this into a career. But yeah, I think you said the band started in 2001. I joined actually in a little bit after that.
Okay.
I think in like 2004. They kind of started in high school, so it was kind of like right in high school.
Wow. Okay.
Playing and playing and playing and playing, and we didn't really get super serious until probably 2007 when we moved. That's when we moved from Alaska to Texas.
Right.
That's when things kind of started to get, like serious. But no, it was awesome growing up there and playing in the small little scene up there. Kind of. Yeah, it shaped our sound. Just the surroundings where we grew up in,
For sure. And now what I think is the most interesting, when you moved to Texas, I heard that it was because Drowning Pool told you to do it.
That is correct.
How did you guys cross paths with Drowning Pool? Because that's a little bit of a different kind of sound, and interesting that you would cross paths with them.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Up in Alaska where we live, particularly Fairbanks, no bands came up there. You get lucky, you get Godsmack like maybe once every 3 or 4 years, and that was pretty much it. And so that was pretty much it. So yeah, once this Drowning Pool came up, and it was like, wow, they need an opener, and we were like, we'll do it, and they let us open for them, and they watched us, and then afterwards they kind of came up to us and were like, oh man, if you guys went to Dallas, you guys would get picked up, like, so super quick. And that was right around the time we were wanting to move. So being, really young and like, oh, Drowning Pool is telling us, we'll get a record deal if we move to Dallas. We were like, we weren't just like instantly, let's go to Texas, but it became part of the conversation. And then eventually we're just like, yeah, let's just do it. Let's try it out. It's a big City, central location, in the States. And we just did it. And it turned out really cool. It's an awesome scene here, and it is a good spot. Tons of bands. That opened up a whole bunch of new doors for us. So
definitely. Now, do you think that if you didn't make the move, you could be where you are now, or do you think Alaska really is just that difficult to kind of spread out?
I think we'd have to have a lot more of a more interesting sound that jumps out to people, because really, I don't see how else you could make any noise. Maybe now, because the internet is like a lot more stronger.
Right.
It was still pretty strong when we were up there, but now it's like insane. And maybe you could make a little noise, but I still think people have to see you, and you can only do so much of that up there. So yeah, I think either way, if you want to take it to the next level, you gotta move out of state and to the lower 48. So, yeah.
Now, you guys all are from very separate areas of the country and not even the country itself. So what exactly was the crossing point where you guys all came together, since you're from not, very close, places?
Yeah. Well, we all, like I said, we relocated to Texas from Alaska, and I'm the only guy of that original group of guys who did it. Okay. And so, yeah, at the time we didn't have a bass player, so I remember those were the MySpace days, and we got a hold of this. This guy got a hold of us and said, "Hey, I saw that you guys just moved to Texas. I'm actually about to come over there from England, and you guys need a bass player." Well, I'm a bass player. And I was like, okay. And he's like, well, I'll be there in 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Like, whoa, okay. Well, cool, man. Hopefully we'll have a guy, but if not, cool. Well, 6 months later, we didn't actually, it was really harder than we thought to get a decent bass player. And he sent me an email, and he's like, hey, I'm here. I'd like to come, jam with you guys. And it was Chris, who, he just moved over from England, and he ended up being the guy, and it worked out. And then our drummer, Jono, he's actually, born and raised in Texas. So when our original drummer, he stepped down, we knew Jono. We knew he was really good, and asked him if he wanted to play drums for us, and he's like, yeah. And so there's the Texas, part of the band. And so, yeah, it's kind of crazy that we all came from different parts and ended up in Texas.
Yeah.
But it worked out.
For sure. Now, what do we have lined up next year? So we have this tour starting off the year. You said album probably more towards the middle of the year. Anything else yet that is kind of in the works?
Well, yeah, we're kind of, right now, it's kind of do this tour, come home, and start recording. Still not sure, what it's going to get released on, like as far as label wise, or we'll probably do a little bit of shopping, see what we can come up with that. And then nothing set in stone. We definitely want to get out on the road in the summer and just be busy all summer long. There's a possibility that we might go to Europe in August.
Okay.
That's kind of in the works, early stages of being planned out. But yeah, other than doing this tour and recording and just trying to secure a summer release, that's kind of it for right now. But we're definitely wanting to, we're looking to see what we can do to set up to do as much touring as we can this summer, for sure. So
definitely. Now, what's kind of the idea with label or no label in these days? Do you even really think it's necessary?
Well, the last one, we didn't have one, and it wasn't the worst thing in the world. So I don't think, it's necessary. I think, once again, it's one of those things where it's like you can do it, you can self-release and fund everything, and you can go to a certain point, but it's like if you want to go to that next level, you need that, you need help. And the labels have all the resources and stuff. So I think we want to do that. We want to be able to, tour as much as we can. And it's hard to do when you're just doing it yourself, when you're just calling up people and stuff. So having like a team kind of sort of working for you, which is kind of what a label would do.
Right.
That's kind of what we want. Not to say that, wouldn't work if we did a self-release again, but I think we're just trying to get a little more out of it all, so get a little help, if you know what I'm saying. So
definitely.
But Yeah, I mean, it's totally possible to self-release and do just fine. So
Yeah, for
either
sure.
way works.
For sure. That's all I got. Anything you want to add wrapping up?
Yeah, just hey, come out and see us on this tour, man. It's been a while since we've been out. You know, we're going to be playing a new song actually off of this new album.
Okay.
So yeah, throwing that in the set. Come check it out. Come see what you think. I think it's going to be an awesome time. Two good bands, Full of Hell and Entombed AD. You can't lose. It's going to be fun.
For sure, for sure. Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
All right, man. Thank you.